Guten Morgen from an eerily quiet Frankfurt International Airport, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we are flying aboard Singapore Airlines on their 777. Now you may assume, well, of course to Singapore. But no, we're flying across the Atlantic to New York's JFK Airport. This sort of flight is a continuation of the flight from Singapore. This is called the Fifth Freedom Route. Come join me on part 1 of 2 of getting back to Toronto's Pearson Airport the most unconventional way. I was supposed to get back to Toronto through Dublin on Air Canada's Signature Suite product, but I found this Aeroplan redemption for 60,000 points and knew I had to take advantage of it. Here, at the world-famous Frankfurt International Airport Departures Board, we can see our flight, SQ Flight 26, from here in Frankfurt to New York's JFK Airport. As I mentioned earlier, it is eerily quiet this morning. Maybe in part because I showed up at 5:30 in the morning. This part just before security and passport check looks a lot like a Costco. In case you didn't know, Singapore Airlines is a 5-star airline rated by Skytrax, one of a small group of airlines that holds Skytrax's highest 5-star rating for overall product and service quality. It is also the second best business class in the world, only falling short to Qatar. As we make our way to the lounges offered by Singapore, we must pass through this duty-free area, which is pretty standard for most airports around the world. Coming up to our gate to take a look at it, I can see an Air Canada 787 arriving from Montreal looming in the background. Here is a nice up-close look at that very same 787. Sticking with the Air Canada theme, we made our way up to the Air Canada Maple Leaf Lounge here at Frankfurt. Didn't really make much sense to me why they had an Air Canada lounge here, but I assume it's because Frankfurt's such a heavy business city. I don't know. The lounge was super spacious and had tons of seating. It also had a great view of the tarmac. I could see lots of different aircraft from all around the world that I just couldn't see from down below. It also had a shower room, but unfortunately I didn't go check it out. There was also this nice quiet business center that had lots of seating and this little snack bar. There was also this printer. As I said earlier, there was tons of private seating in this lounge. It offered a very quiet and luxurious experience before boarding a very luxurious flight. They also had this departures board of other Star Alliance partners. There were these little sleep pod things around the lounge that I found very handy. Let's take a look at the food on offer. Of course, lots of German delights, such as pretzels and other pastries, some spreads, pancakes, beans, potatoes, and bacon, along with scrambled eggs, sauces, and a yogurt bar. Also, candy, which seemed a little odd at 6 in the morning, but I wasn't complaining. There was also this juice bar, along with some deli meats, cheeses, and other vegetables. When in Germany, anyways, and finally, the soft drinks bar. Here's our aircraft arriving from its inbound flight from Singapore. 9 Victor Sierra Whiskey Sierra is an 18-year-old 777-300ER constructed in 2008. Overall, the Air Canada lounge here in Frankfurt was a great place to spend some time. On my way over to the other lounge available with Singapore Airlines, I stopped and took a look at the tarmac from this outdoor observation area. The other lounge I mentioned is the Lufthansa Business Lounge. Up this flight of stairs, and arriving to the business class lounge. Overall, it's a great place to spend some time before a flight, but one complaint I have is it doesn't really have a great clear view of the tarmac. But then again, it's a business class lounge. There's another view of our aircraft. There were lots of these tables with charging stations, which I really appreciated. Rather than a business room, there were these business pods, which I could see more useful than one communal area if you need to take phone calls. There were also showers, and again, I did not use these. Let's take a look at some of the food on offer. Of course, we're in Germany, so there's lots of meat. Yogurt station, some pastries, a cold bar, eggs, and more tasty stuff like that. There was also a drinks bar and a coffee maker. And again, a candy station. I don't know what it is with German lounges. Anyways, please enjoy this montage I made from the Air Canada Lounge. What cool sights at Frankfurt Airport. That's just stuff you don't get in Canada. After hearing boarding was being called, I started to make our way down to the aircraft. Now there was a pretty big queue, but it moved quite quickly. Let's go get on board this 777 sitting in business class. Initially walking in, my first impressions are amazing. I walked through this first class cabin, which only has 4 seats, and into the much larger business class cabin, which seemed like it took up almost half the aircraft. Also, weirdly enough, economy passengers still had to walk through the entire business cabin just to get to their seats. It almost made no sense. As you will see in a second here, I originally booked this trip in seat 19A. Here's why it's a good reason I chose to change my seat. It took a last-minute scramble in the Lufthansa Business Lounge to realize that seat had no window. Here's our massive pod suite apartment. It's absolutely huge. This seat is twice the size of the Lufthansa business class seat, and to think I paid the same amount of Airline points for both is bizarre. Has charging ports, a headlamp, headphone jack, a massive seat, some seat controls, do not disturb button, another headphone jack. As you can see here, my do not disturb button just didn't seem to work. Some more lights up above. There's also the storage compartment, a mirror, a controller for the TV, headphones were passed around, the menu for the flight, a water bottle, the tray table which folded out, more storage. Absolutely incredible. Then in the seat side pocket, there was an information card on how to connect to the Wi-Fi, which was free for business class travelers, an air sickness bag, which could also be used as a garbage, the safety features card for the 777, along with the Chris Shop in-flight magazine. As I was showing you guys the seat, the menu came around. It started with the signature Singapore chicken satay. There were a couple main course options, and I went the Masaman Mu, which was like a pork teriyaki type meal, and dessert, which I chose to skip, and the lunch, which I also didn't eat. Drinks came around quickly after that, and I got an orange juice. Also, one thing I noticed is the seat had an airbag, which made it extremely comfy. Hot towels came around shortly too. The in-flight entertainment was nothing short of spectacular. There were so many movie options, I just had to keep flipping through them and through them and through them. It was absolutely... Let's try that again. So many in-flight menu... The safety video played. I couldn't figure out how to open this water bottle. And finally got the choice to show you guys the rest of the in-flight entertainment. The last movie was Zootopia. There was also an in-flight moving map, which was pretty slow to load, but once it loaded, it was incredible. Please enjoy the pushback, painfully slow taxi, and takeoff of this Boeing 777-300ER.
Flat on the floor and heels towards your feet. If you can't reach the seat in front of the aircraft slowly.
Conductor like this. Removing from the plastic cover.
Remind you that this is a non-smoking flight. Smoking, including the parking and use of e-brake.
What a scenic takeoff. After that, I decided to put my tray table out in hopes the meal service would start soon so I could get some sleep. And it did. The tray table came out at a great height. One thing I noticed was this flap of cushion came off easily. I don't know if that was just my seat or if it happened to everyone. Like I mentioned earlier, my do not disturb light just could not illuminate. But as you can see there, you can kind of see it. It's a little dim. But I'll choose to show you here in a seat in front of me, also without a window. It works pretty well there. As mentioned earlier, the signature Singapore Airlines chicken skewers came out quickly, and a wet wipe, as they were pretty messy. I went with a ginger ale to complement my main course. The remote for the TV also had the time elapsed and time remaining, which I found helpful. After taking a look at that, tablecloths appeared, cutlery as well, and the appetizer, which was a burrata. And then a bread basket appeared. I got a plain bread roll along with a focaccia loaf. As mentioned earlier, I had selected the Moo Man, something like that, main course. It was essentially a pork teriyaki and it was pretty flavorful and tasty. I said I didn't eat dessert. I had ordered dessert. I only ate the fruit, and you'll see why here. The ice cream was inedible. It was hard as a rock. The fruit was fresh and tasty though. A selection of chocolates also came out after that. Let's take a look at the in-flight restroom for Singapore Airlines. They had some facial mists, a scent dispenser, some towels, a nice liquid hand soap, and that's pretty much it. Singapore Airlines has a whopping 48 business class seats on their 777-300 ERs, configured in a 1-2-1 layout. I got this amenity kit, and you could only get it upon request. It came with the basics: some lip balm, a face mist, which was really nice, some hand pomade. I didn't know what that was. If you do, let me know. And silica gel packets. I was getting pretty tired from a sleepless night of rest at Frankfurt's airport hotel, so I chose to turn my bed into a seat to try to get some sleep. The purser, Ashley, who was incredible, offered to help me to turn my seat into a bed, but I kindly rejected and chose to do it myself. This bed was incredible, but the only drawback I had is that the footwell was a little tight. After an amazing 4 hours of uninterrupted sleep, I chose to wake up and go look around the cabin. Before I could, though, a flight attendant stopped and handed me the Singapore Airlines bear. As mentioned before, I chose to reject the second meal service as I just simply wasn't hungry. Overall, this total experience was unlike anything I've ever had, completely trumping Lufthansa's business class seat. That video will be posted soon. Please enjoy the landing of this Boeing 777-300ER.
Descent into New York, JFK International Airport. The weather forecast is spot and reflects fair weather conditions. Temperature on the ground is 3 degrees Celsius, or 7 degrees Fahrenheit. Good awesome this afternoon.
That flight was incredible. The crew were amazing. The food was okay, and my sleep was like I was sleeping on a cloud. I've never experienced anything like that. Would I recommend flying Singapore Airlines' business class to anybody? Absolutely. It was incredible. Once I got off the aircraft, I made my way down to passport control. And when at JFK, there's a certain hotel there. Anyways, you get the point. We made our way to the air train and then to Terminal 5, made this walk across the parking lot, and made it here, to every aviation enthusiast's dream hotel stay, the TWA Hotel at New York's JFK Airport. There was this really cool departures board, and something I noticed is a WestJet flight to San Francisco. There was this nice model display of the old airport terminal, which is what the hotel is branded off of. There is this other cool departures board with 1964 on it. Someone let me know what that means. I made my way down the ever-famous red carpet tunnel and towards my room. This is the view from my room. I got a signature hotel view. May as well give you guys a room tour. The bathroom was pretty big. There was a mini fridge, a mirror, some hangers, a couch, and a nice king-size bed with a desk for working. There's another certain activity at TWA's hotel that you may know about, and it's the rooftop pool. This was so unbelievably cool. I can't put it into words. Please take a look. Anyways, I'd like to thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please stay tuned for more exciting content, and I'll see you next time in the skies.